Welcome guys, or welcome back if it's your first time here. So today I want to take a look at the best Japanese RPGs for beginners. So if you're not aware, JRPGs have made somewhat of a resurgence in recent years, and they come in all kinds of shapes and varieties. So it can be very difficult for people to figure out where to start, for newcomers rather. So today I've compiled a list of what I think are the best ones. I've really taken into account difficulty, tutorials, and the mechanics when it comes to battles and systems and whatnot. But yeah, here it is. Here's my top 5 JRPGs for beginners. First up on the list is Pokemon. Pokemon is a series of monster capturing games developed by Game Freak that has been around since 1996, and since its release it has become one of the biggest franchises around for Nintendo. The story always begins the same way. We start a journey in our hometown to become the Pokemon Master and catch them all, as the tagline goes. The game offers great tutorials at every step of the way, so you don't really need to worry about missing out on anything. The gameplay consists of us going from town to town, catching Pokemon to build our team, fighting gym leaders, collecting badges, then taking on the Elite Four to eventually become the Pokemon Master. You build a team of 6 Pokemon and battle monsters and trainers in turn-based style combat. You will only really need to worry about the type differences with the Pokemon, as different types conflict with each other and have their strengths and weaknesses. So for example, fire is good against grass, grass is good against water, water is good against fire, and so on and so forth. Pokemon has always been a very easy series to approach, as the games offer little challenge and are perfect for kids and kids at heart. My personal pick would be Pokemon Black and White and its sequel Black and White 2 on the DS, as this game offers the most compelling story and was the last game to actually have 2D sprites. But you're probably better off going for the Switch games, as they're the newer ones, and the latest games, Scarlet and Violet, are going to be full-on open world games, which you may enjoy if you prefer newer games. But the series as a whole is a really great one to get into, as you can pretty much play it as casual or as hardcore as you want. If you just want to go through the story, you can do that. But if you want to go hardcore, collecting everything, you can do that. If you want to go for battles and play more competitively, you can. If you just want to train the best Pokemon, you can. So it's a really, really great series to get into. Also, you'll basically find a game on every one of Nintendo's handhelds, so it's really up to you which one you'd like to pick. Okay, so next up we'll be looking at Final Fantasy IV. Final Fantasy is a series that's been around for 35 years now. It's one of the biggest franchises in Japan, alongside Dragon Quest, with the 16th installment planned to release for next summer. Final Fantasy IV was originally released in 1991 for the Super Nintendo. In this game, we play as the Dark Knight Cecil, the captain of the Red Wings, as he's looking to redeem himself for his misdoings, and also to fight against Golbaz, who has corrupted the King of Baron. The game is a very straightforward classic Japanese RPG. You go from town to dungeon, fight bosses in turn-based battles, with you only really having to worry about your leveling up and equipment. You'll also find the beginner's hall in the first area if you need to know the basics. Also, the game is on a ton of platforms. You'll find this game on Super Nintendo, as I said already, PlayStation 1, Wonder Swan, Game Boy Advance, PSP, mobile and PC. The latest mobile and PC versions being the Pixel remasters. But if I'm going to personally pick, I would say go for the PSP version, as this offers the full, complete experience. You get the first game, you get a sequel, The After Years, which is a episodic story where you play as Cecil's son, and it also gives the interlude, which is the bridge between the two games. Also, the Final Fantasy series is a really good one to get into, as there's tons of games, 16 as I already said. Once you've done this one, I'd probably say go for Final Fantasy 6, maybe 7, possibly even 10. And if you want more of an action RPG, go for 15 or 7 Remake. Also, the best thing about Final Fantasy 4 is it's the perfect JRPG for beginners, as it teaches you all the fundamentals you need. You don't really need to worry about party composition or anything, as it's very straightforward and linear. So, hope you enjoy. Okay, so the next game on this list is Tales of Arise, released back in September of 2021 by Namco Bandai. This is the latest installment of the Tales of series of action RPGs. In this game, we play as Alphen and Shion and their friends as they fight the 5 Lords of Renna to help free the Danan people. The gameplay involves traveling from town to town, going through dungeons, completing side quests for the locals, and the combat is a real-time hack and slash variety. You will learn new moves and have to build the best moveset, and you also will need to gather materials to build new weapons, but this is something you can just do naturally as you play the game. Being a more modern game, the tutorials are plentiful but spaced out enough to not feel too overwhelming. Also, what's great is you can change the difficulty if you want less or more of a challenge. This game is really made for newer players in mind, so it's a really perfect starting point. Also, this game is available for PS4, 5, Xbox One, Series systems, as well as PC. The only real difference between the platforms is that the newer systems offer 60 frames a second, so being an action game, you may want to try that out instead. Also, what's great is the Tales of series is a series, so there's plenty of games there for you to check out if you played this one and you enjoy it. I personally suggest after this one maybe going for Tales of Vesperia, as there's actually a remaster of that one available for Xbox One, PS4, PC and Switch, so check out the series and I hope you enjoy. So for this next game, we'll be looking at Chrono Trigger. Originally released back in 1995 for the Super Nintendo, Chrono Trigger was famously made by Square Enix's dream team of Hironobu Sakaguchi, Unoue Uematsu of Final Fantasy fame, as well as Akira Toriyama of Dragon Ball Z, who famously did the artwork for the game. Chrono Trigger is cited by many to be one of the greatest games of all time, not only within the RPG genre. We follow Chrono as he travels through time, gaining allies to stop the evil mage Magus, or so it seems. You will travel to new times and visit towns and dungeons with side quests. This game has turn-based combat with a party of 3. You really have to master the art of text and magic to overcome your foes. All abilities are learnt by just leveling up naturally, and unlike other RPGs of the time, there's actually no random encounters, making this far more approachable for newer players. Also, you will learn things as you travel through the game and journey. You don't really need to worry too much about lengthy tutorials. Everything's taught to you in a much more natural way. This game is on multiple platforms. Super Nintendo, as already stated, PlayStation 1, even though I'd avoid that version, DS, mobile, and PC. But for me, personally, I would say go for that DS version, as it's the most complete version and offers a map screen on the bottom, which sounds strange, but actually really does help. Also, not only is this game great for beginners, but it's also a legitimate classic. It has to be played by everyone. So, hope you like the game. And finally, to end this list, we have Persona 5, released back in 2006 and developed by Atlus. In this game, we play as Joker as he starts his journey in a new school. He and his fellow schoolmates awaken to the power to control personas, physical manifestations of their psyche. What's great about Persona is it crosses the visual novel genre with the RPG genre. You have social simulation gameplay where you have to build relationships, gaining affinity for your specific personas, as well as dungeon crawling and fighting enemies in turn-based combat. You'll need to freeze personas to make stronger ones. The main thing to consider is the elements of your enemies, as you'll need to strike their weaknesses to gain an advantage in battle. Tutorials are plentiful, so no worries there. Also, the Persona series as a whole, or rather 2, 3 and 5, have all gotten a lot of people into the JRPG genre as a whole. So this will probably be most people's picks for the best starting place. I only picked 5 as it's the latest entry in the series, and it's going to be available on the most platforms. You'll find it on PlayStation 3 and 4, PlayStation 5, Nintendo Switch, PC, and Xbox One and Series systems. As well, it's also going to be releasing day 1 on Game Pass on the 21st of October. So when you see this video, it might already released. Also, what's great about the Persona series is that it's a part of the Shin Megami Tensei series as a whole. So this is a great gateway into that series. The other Megaten games though are a lot more difficult and more hardcore. So maybe play some other games before we really dive into that series. But it is also a great series to get into, so it's become one of my favorite, in fact. So that's my list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, I'd be really interested to know what you guys think are great starting JRPGs, because obviously the whole point of the series, or the video rather, was to really get newcomers into the series, so I think it'd be great to share your own experiences. Also, I really want to know, what was the first game you started with? Because for me, it was actually Final Fantasy VIII, which is a very odd first RPG to start with, because it has this strange system called the junction system, where you have to actually draw magic from enemies and then equip them to different stats to increase your stats. So it doesn't work with the traditional MP system or anything like that at all. It's very odd on start with. But yeah, it'd be great to hear what you guys think. Anyway,